story, and everybody loves this story when they hear it. It is such a sweet and beautiful story, and it demonstrates the perfection of the akhlaq of the Prophet ﷺ, is regarding that Sahabi who was actually not from Medina. He was a Bedouin. He didn't live in Medina. He was a Bedouin. He was from the A'rab, but he was of the righteous A'rab, and his name was Zaahir. His name was Zaahir. And he would come to Medina and always gift the Prophet ﷺ something, and the Prophet ﷺ would gift him back. They had a very good friendship together. But Zaahir was mocked by the other people. The other people made fun of him. He was short, and they said he was ugly looking, and they said he was this and that. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't care about this. He liked him a lot. The Prophet ﷺ had a good relationship with him. One day the Prophet ﷺ is walking in the suq, and he sees Zaahir, and he hasn't seen him for a long time. And Zaahir has not yet come to the masjid. He has to sell some merchandise, then he's going to come to the masjid. So the Prophet ﷺ is pleasantly surprised that he is seeing Zaahir. So he walks from behind Zaahir, not informing him that he has seen him. And he's in the suq, everybody's buying and selling, saying, who's going to buy, who's going to purchase? In those days, everybody would have to scream, I have this, I have that, purchase this. So the Prophet ﷺ held on to him from the back. I mean, this is unbelievable when you think about it. He is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is Zaahir. You know, we tried our best, the scholars, myself, we tried our best to look up about Zaahir. We only know 3 or 4 things about him. He's not one of the big famous Sahaba. He's not like Abu Bakr and Umar. He doesn't have a long history of qital and jihad. We don't know much about him. But for some reason, there's something in his akhlaq, something in him. The Prophet really loves Zaahir. And so he held on to Zaahir from behind, and he holds on to him like this. And then in the middle of the suq, he says, who is going to purchase this abd from me? You all get the double meaning, abd here. Who's going to purchase this abd? Now, of course, in the suq, the abd here would mean a slave. But when he is saying it, it means the worshipper of Allah. And Zaahir is a worshipper of Allah. Right? Who's going to purchase this abd from me? This is what we would call a humorous prank. And it is our Prophet ﷺ doing it. Man yashtari hadha al-abd minni. And Zaahir becomes angry. Who is this playing this prank? Who is this? Because, I mean, who wouldn't be irritated? Then he sees who it is. What happens? The narrator says, Zaahir just melted and became limp, so that he could feel, his back could feel the skin of the Prophet ﷺ, and that he could get the barakah from the Prophet ﷺ as much as possible. Immediately he limped so that he could feel the blessed jasad of the Prophet ﷺ. And then he said, Ya Rasulullah, you want to sell me, but I'm going to come for a cheap price. What are you going to get for me? Right? I'm going to be, and the reason he's making fun of himself, because the people say bad things about him. You know how sometimes cruel people are, and they would make fun of him for his expression or his facial features or whatever. They would say that he's not a handsome man, he's whatnot. And the Prophet ﷺ said, rather, you are very expensive in the eyes of Allah. إِنَّكَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ لَغَالٍ. You are very expensive in the eyes of Allah. Now, this incident, if it doesn't humanize the Prophet, what will? If it doesn't show us his perfection of akhlaq, then what?